how we evolved her. We know Bo Peep from being a toy on a lamp. She's essentially a toy attached to an appliance, kind of unusual, but that's her life, on a baby lamp. And in the film, we end up with her as an adventurous lost toy. Well, when we started developing her character, the first thing we did is we took every clip from Toy Story 1 and 2 and sort of smashed them all together. Our editors put them together and we watched it and we thought, what do we have here? Who do we know this character to be? She has a few moments, some pretty solid moments in the sense that she is this important character in Woody's life. She's a confidant to him. She's the one that he goes to confide in when things get hard, but she's also got this flirty, kind of fun role that she plays with him, with their interaction. There were some things we knew we wanted to do. We knew the toys would end up in the antique store. This seemed like a really interesting new place where toys and objects end up in that we haven't explored in the Toy Story world. We're telling another chapter in Woody's life. He's the main character. So what is his realization at the end? And we know that Bo is a huge catalyst to drive and change him. So we have to think about where we want to be at the end of the story, and so how does Bo fold into that? And we decided she would be a lost toy. And we land on our new Bo Peep, or the evolved Bo Peep, who she is now. So, to get to that, we had to dive back into the original Bo Peep.
It's not just because the technique is now way more advanced, it's because she was never meant to be a main character. So there was no time or budget really given to take a lot of time to figure things out in her rig or her model. So back in the days, they sculpted her and scanned her, and I totally freaked out when I got the original sculpt brought to me. And instead of having, we usually get we call it a model package, a front drawing and a side drawing, which I use to model a character. I just got these sketches, and that inspired me to start modeling the character. And here's the pose. It's her classic lamp pose on the left that I used to start with a model. Modeling on the computer, it's like modeling in clay, but instead of moving clay around, I'm moving points in space. And these points are connected with, we call it polygons, which gives the surface to our characters, and the surface will be textured by it. The designer gives me drawovers, so we are sitting together on the computer and figuring out what kind of shapes she actually will have in a movie.
Hey, I'm Carrie. I'm a story artist. And like Valerie said, we really took our time to understand who Bo was and explore the possibilities of where she landed. Basically, she's this character who decided she's tired of sitting on a shelf and waiting for life to happen. She learned to adapt. So we want her to be really smart about how she gets around, but also not immune to fumbling. She has a sense of humor and this go with the flow sense of mentality to life. She also knows the realities of the world, and she's willing to help a friend, but she's not overly motherly. She's true to the old Bo. She loves messing with Woody, and she can be really sarcastic, but we also wanted to explore that she's silly and playful, competitive. And we have some excellent tailors in our cloth department that are not only great in the computer, but in real life they can also tailor things. So Mariana built this beautiful cape for the animators to play with and explore and to feel the weight of it and just to have fun. And that's amazing that we have people that work so hard here to do that, which all led us to the Bo that you see on screen, like all her different versions, which hopefully all feel like Bo. From classic Bo to modern Bo. Hopefully she just feels like this friend that you haven't seen in ages, but you remember her.
Because Bo Peep is now an adventurer living out in the world, she really needed to be active and more athletic than we've seen her in the past. And as a main character, we knew that she was going to need to be more expressive. Her facial expressions needed to really read, and she had to have a broad range of expressions. So we ended up animating her a bit stiffer than a typical human. We restricted a lot of her movements in her torso. You see on the left, it's moving up and down a lot more. And in addition, we chose to limit the movements of her arms and her wrists. Here's an early exploration test that was beautifully animated, but it looked a little bit too human. So we took the original animation located at the center of screen, and we tried variations on it to try toyifying her movements.